L'éducation est l'arme la plus puissante pour changer le monde, disait Nelson Mandela. Chers amis téléspectateurs, bonjour. Bienvenue à Télé-Ecole, la télé 100% éducation. Nous avons le plaisir aujourd'hui de vous accueillir très chaleureusement dans cette émission de Télé-Révisions. Réviser, c'est bien, mais savoir comment réviser, l'art de la révision, c'est encore mieux. Nous allons partager ce moment aujourd'hui avec M. DIOUF, professeur d'anglais au lycée zone de recasement de Keur Massar. Sans plus tarder, nous allons recueillir quelques impressions de quelques élèves.
Bonjour.
C'est comment le nom?
Mohamed Rasouldo.
Okay. Savez-vous pourquoi vous êtes ici aujourd'hui?
Bien sûr, on est là pour, en quelque sorte, une révision. Pour préparer le bac.
Est-ce que vous avez une notion de ce que c'est la télérévision?
En fait, ça va aider les élèves à mieux réviser. Et pour ceux qui ne viennent pas ici, pourront en bénéficier et en regarder sur YouTube et d'autres.
Ça pourra permettre aux élèves de mieux s'exprimer et de s'affirmer, de dire dans les matières où ils ont des problèmes et tout.
D'accord. Ok, merci beaucoup. À tout à l'heure. Merci, au revoir. Alors, comme vous le constatez si bien, les élèves sont assis confortablement en train d'attendre le cours. Aujourd'hui, M. DIOUF va nous parler de ce qu'on appelle Dialogue Writing Techniques, qui signifie dans la langue de Molière technique d'écriture dans dialogue. À l'issue de ce cours, les élèves devront être capables d'écrire correctement en dialogue. L'introduction qui est l'ébauche, le développement et la conclusion. Professeur, vous avez la parole.
Okay, good morning everyone. Good morning, good afternoon or good evening. Let's say good mornings. How are you? Have you taken your breakfast? Yes. Fatimata, you have already eaten. How many bread have you eaten? The whole class are very greedy in terms of eating bread. Okay, I'm just going to remind you of a lesson that you have already done, because this is a revision, you see, it's not a course, but a revision. Then I'll remind you of the revision today, the lesson we're going to read, just the different components, the different parts of the lessons to remind you of the lesson. So after that, so you are going to do a practice in a group. You are going to divide yourself into groups and then work alone. So after you have written what you have already done, so we come back in order to share and then we correct together. Is that good? Okay. We'll start with today. What did I tell you that we're going to write? It is the writing. Alors, in writing we have different forms. Good. What are the different forms? We have dialogue, letter, and dialogue is conversation, and argumentative. Good, Fatima. You have already. So today we're going to insist on a dialogue. So dialogue writing. So how to write a dialogue? Just to remind you of the different components of a dialogue that you already know. It's just a remembrance. So in a dialogue, you have to be very pragmatic like all the other lessons. You need to have the different components of a dialogue, meaning the introduction. You see, in every dialogue you need to introduce. Now, how are you going to introduce a dialogue? How are you going to introduce the dialogue? I'll just ask you 4 questions. If you answer those questions, so you have your introductions. This is how you're going to proceed. The questions are going to be asked and then you answer them. That's only the way, you see. So when you have a dialogue, a topic of a dialogue, so bear in mind that you have to answer these 4 questions. And the first one is, who are talking in the dialogue? Who are talking? What does it mean? When you say who are talking,
when we say who are talking,
yes,
we bear in mind 2 persons.
The persons.
The persons
Mhm.
who are ready
To converse in the
conversation.
in the dialogue. Good. The first you have to mention the person who are talking. If they are 2, at least they should be 2. Donc 2 or 3 or 4, it depends. So the second question is, what is their relationship? So it means that you have answered, you have learned your lesson. What is their relationship? Meaning what? The 2 persons or the 3 persons who are talking, so what links them? You see, what is their relationship? Is it a father and a son? Is it a daughter and a mother? Is it 2 friends? Or are they 2 friends? You see, so you have to bring what is their link. And the other is, remind, Lee, do you have the third questions? What are they talking about? What does it mean? What are they talking about? And when you say what are they talking about, it means that, it means what? What are they talking about? You say what are they talking about? You go back to the topic, you see, to know what they talk about. So you mean that, it means that if you go to the topic, you will see the theme or the topic of their dialogue, you see. So the last one is, what is their means of communication? So what is their means of communication? What does it mean? When you say what is their means of communication, so you tell people that, the reader or the one who is going to correct you, tell them, so what the way they were talking. Were they talking through the phone? Were they talking through face-to-face? Or were they talking via, is it the only means? Internet, yes. Internet. In internet you can talk via Facebook, WhatsApp, good, Twitter, etc. Something like that. Oh, these are the 4 questions I told you in the introductions. So after you have answered the 4 questions, so what are you going to do? That is what we call the transition before you head to the development itself. This is remember this is the introduction. We're in the introduction, how to introduce a dialogue, you see. And this is the sentence that you don't have to forget. It is, he is the dialogue. This sentence means that you go to the development or the dialogue itself. So when you answer these 4 questions and you make this sentence, it means that you are leaving from the introduction to the development of your writing. You see?
We can have also, this is the conversation.
This is the conversation. Good. This is the conversation. Just to show that you are moving from the introduction to the development, to the dialogue itself. And when you answer these 4 questions and write this, it is only at that moment that you have the right to write people's name. You see, you say, for example, Adama, Khames, and they start talking. Adama, Khames, etc. You see, this is the first elements of the development or the dialogue itself. The dialogue itself. Meaning at this very moment that the dialogue starts. At this very moment the dialogue has started. And this shows that you show the person who are talking. You mentioned them in the... So the person you are putting here are the person that you mentioned in your introduction. You cannot write here Fatu and he write here Adama now. That's the person that you mentioned in the introduction that are going to compose the dialogue. If it is a father and a daughter, you say father, daughter. If it is a mother and a son, you say mother, son. Do you get it? During the whole dialogue, that will be like this. Now, the first element of the dialogue are what? You have the greetings. Good. The two elements of the dialogue are the greetings. This is part of the dialogue itself. When a person meets for the first time, what they have to do is just they talk. They greet themselves. They greet each other. You see, you greet. How do you greet a person? You know how to greet. You see, how do you greet a person? Hello, hi, how are you? You see, that's the salam alek, as we said. You get it? That's the salam alek. But when you greet, whatever greeting you want, just say them. Get it? Yeah. Now, after the greetings, you go to the dialogue itself. The dialogue is here, is the topic, you see, you are going to talk about. So what they are talking about. You see? Don't you try to say what they are talking about now. Fatu wants this, or Adama wants this, Khames wants that. Adama tries to convince Khames, Khames tries to give her arguments. And then they talk. You can use different lines. And a dialogue, you don't need to make it a longer dialogue. Now, you just have the components, you see. They say, she answers, and the answers must be coherent. Adama says this, Khames answer what Adama says. And Adama gives another argument, and Khames answers another argument. You get it? Now, in the end, you have the dialogue itself. Now, at the end of the dialogue, what are you going to do? In the end, in the conclusion, there is a conclusion. So what do you conclude? When you conclude a dialogue, what do you do? The final what? The final words. Good. And in the final words, what do you do? In the final words, yes. At the end of the discussion, what happens? He convinced, Adama convinces Khames, or Khames was difficult to convince. So you give the outcome of the dialogue. The outcome meaning how it finishes. So in a dialogue, one must convince the other. Or you give that was impossible to convince each other, and then the dialogue finished in a like they were fighting. I'm sorry. They were fighting at the end of the dialogue. Yeah. They didn't find an agree. It's possible that at the end of the dialogue, they start beating at it. Like if you are a halpular, it's difficult to convince them. You see, that's it. Okay, these are the different components of a dialogue. You see, remember that the questions should be answered, not written. like the Jola people, they will just write the question like this now. You just answer the questions. And you are not told to start from the who are talking, or you can start wherever you want from the 4 questions. There is no specific, you see, so you must start from the 4th, you see, and come to the first, etc. What is important is to answer the 4 questions. You get the point? Is there any question to clarify things? Anything else to clarify it?
No question.
You got it?
Yes.
Now, what are the different components of the introduction? Is
We have
4
4 are talking
4 questions, and the
in the dialogue.
and this the introductive sentence, and then we go to the development, the dialogue itself.
We have greeting
We have greetings,
and the
and then on the conversation, and then in the end you have the final words. These are the different components of a dialogue. A dialogue, you cannot come and start with the persons leaving this now. If you do this, you leave one part of a dialogue. That is going to enhance a dialogue, that I'm going to talk about this. And all these questions, they are in the topic. All the are in the topic. Remember that these questions that you are going to answer, you take the information from the topic. Don't take it elsewhere. You take it from the topic. And all these elements are in the topic. It's up to you to be skilled enough to know how to draw the information from the topic. Do you get a point? Yes. So you have to respect this when you are delivering a dialogue itself. So, how are we going to make you in groups? The half together, or we mix you? Huh? Half together. Okay, that's it. Okay, thank you so much. Let me explain to you the situation here. So we're going to read first the situation, and then if there are some words that you don't understand, so you ask me, I'm going to give you the explanations. So if there are some words that you don't know. So just first let's read the text, the situation. This is the situation. You see, you have here Mrs. Nogai Fai, a rich single parent and popular midwife, paying for her daughter's education. She has plans for her daughter, Fatou. She wants her to become a successful midwife like herself. She dreams that Fatou will be a partner in her private hospital. She hopes that Fatou will marry an educated and handsome man from a good family. 20-year-old Fatou has other ideas. She is sick of school. She has decided that a midwife career is not just for her. She wants to drop out of school at the end of the bac exam, whether she has it or not. Fatou also is in love with Modou, a tailor, who works near the school. You get it? Now, she wants to be married with him. So these are different situations. Now, right there, the conversation. So is there any word that you would like to be explained? First, double, we have 2 persons to read and then 1. You want to read? Yes, Ms. Lee.
Mrs. Nogaifa, rich single, friendly and popular midwife, paying for her daughter's education. She has planned for her daughter's part. She wanted to become a successful midwife like herself. She dreams that Fatou will be a partner in her private hospital. She hopes that Fatou will marry an educated and handsome man from a good family. 20-year-old Fatou has other ideas. She is chic She has decided that midwife career is just enough for her. She wanted to drop out school at the end of the back exam, whether she succeeds or not. But is also in love with Maud, a tailor who works near the school. She wants to be married with him. Write down
The dialogue. Is there any word? Yes, young boy.
This is not a right single parent.
Rich.
Rich, single parent, and popular midwife. Paying for doctor's education. She has plans for her, but she wants to help to become a successful midwife. Massar, strange that part will be a part of
Private.
hospital. She hopes that Fatu will marry an educated and handsome man from a good family. 20-year-old Fatu has other ideas. She is sick of school. She has decided that a midwife care is just not for her. She wants to drop out of school at the end of the back exam with succeed or not. Part is also in love with Maud, a tailor who works near the school. She wants to be married with him.
Okay. What are the words that you don't understand? Is there any word, an expression?
Weather.
Weather.
Of the back exam.
Weather. It means in report speed you use weather, or when the question, it comes with, it starts with the questions. When the sentence starts with an auxiliary, you write whether or if. Très bien, good. Whether means if. They are synonyms. It means if. If she succeeds or not. And then handsome. We say a handsome is. We say a beautiful girl
Handsome girl
and a handsome man.
or handsome boy.
A handsome boy. That's the synonym of beautiful. But it is just for men. You get it?
So I want to know the dialogue is between Norefe.
This is your group. You work that in your group. You work that in your group. I will answer the question later.
Okay.
Discuss this in your group. Who are the dialogue? That's why you have 3 persons. So who are talking? You discuss this in your group. Here, I may answer the questions to you. Answer the question in your group, and then that will be fine. That will be a big question at the end. I prefer to answer this question. Read, and if you read this, you should be able to know who are talking in reality. Do you get it? Now work in your group and then find it.
L'anglais est la langue internationale des médias et d'Internet. Il est enseigné dans plus de 118 pays, de son importance capitale. Comme vous le voyez, les élèves se sont constitués en groupe afin de faire leurs exercices. Nous allons les laisser traiter les exercices.
Okay, thank you, class. Come back now. Its time is over. You have to give back. So after having done the topic, we're going to give you the floor in order to give back what you have written. Because we should know that what you have written is good, and then we correct it. No matter how it is, so you give it. Okay? Now, group 1, you have the floor.
Fatu is a doctor of Norefe. Norefe wants her doctor to become a successful midwife, but unfortunately, Fatu has another idea, and should she wants to drop out school at the end of the back exam for getting married with Modu. So the mother hopes that Fatou will marry a handsome man from a good family. Here is a dialogue.
Hello, Fatou. I need you.
Hi, Mom. What happened?
Okay, I know your relationship between you and Modu, but I disagree.
Mom, Evan, if I don't agree, but I'm in love with him.
Baby, I have a lot of ambition for you. That's why I want you to be my steps.
Mom, very true. That you're right, but my feelings for Modu are stronger than his reason.
So, it's simple, Tyler. It's better than your future. It is okay.
In the end, Fatou don't agree the ideas of her mother, and her mother is disappointed for her daughter.
Good. We heard your conversation is good. It's acceptable. Really, I didn't expect such a good introduction and a conclusion. That's something good, apart from some blemishes in it. So we're going to correct it. So you write it on a paper and give it to me so that I will correct it and give you back the mark. That's really good. Thank you, and keep on doing like this. So we move to the second group. You can give us your production.
In day, the rich parents named Mrs. Nogefei, who dreams that her daughter became a midwife, but her daughter had other ideas who had different of that her mother. Here is a conversation.
Hello, my daughter.
Hi, Mom.
In the occasion, I would like to talk to you.
It is important, Mom.
Of course, when you were a little girl, I had dreams for you. It is so. Of course, when you were a little girl, I had dreams for you.
Is that so? What kind the dream?
I want you to become a midwife like me.
It's important, but I had another ambition.
I know your ambition.
Mom, at the end of the exam, I would like to get married with Modu, who is a tailor near the school.
What? Are you crazy?
No, but you must accept my decision.
With all the investment I did on you, do not have another thing to tell me that after the back you wanted to marry with Télé.
At the end of the discussion, Fat succeeded to convince her mother, but at condition that Fat continued to study, in fact, to become an independent girl.
Good. So you all have written your conversation, as I said to the first group. What is important is to make a production, and the production was the dialogue. I did like the way you have given it back, meaning making a role play. That's good. And I would prefer you come on stage if you make it like a sketch and then you come on stage and play it. That would be good. Really, we can see that Fatou and her mother are really in contradiction with their belief. That's good. You have shown it in your conversation. That's a good idea. That's like this. You see, when it comes to producing a dialogue, so you must be convincing. You see, every steps you have to respect them, and that's like this. Thank you, and good. That's a good idea. I congratulate you for your production. You see, it's a good production, and I hope that you will better it when you go back home. Try to better it, make it better, and then make it that's like this, huh? When you have the habit to producing, when you have the habit to pronounce, so English is the language of pronunciation. So you speak, try to pronounce, and then that will be good in the end. Thank you so much. Today we're going to stop the class here, and then tell you see you next time. So next time we'll do a dialogue. We'll do another concerning another writing technique, which is an email or an argumentative. Huh? Thank you so much.
Alors, merci beaucoup au professeur Monsieur Diouf pour ce cours riche en partage. Nous allons sans plus tarder recueillir quelques impressions de la part des élèves. Hello, Mrs.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm feeling good.
The name?
The name is Hadim Baital.
How was the class?
So we are very happy to be here because we have the topic like a dialogue, and also, yeah, it's very important to remind that the different parts of this dialogue, because me personally, I didn't understand something about the dialogue, but now I very understand that. Yeah.
And now, are you satisfied?
Yeah, we are very satisfied. And thanks to Miss Sir Diouf, I'm sorry, thanks Sir Diouf, and we are very happy to be here also.
And Mrs. Tal, have you a message for students who dislike learning English?
So I just want to know that English is very important. So me personally, I have I do many concours, many exercises without. So we must learn every what? Every lesson, yeah, about it.
Thank you, Mrs. Tal. Thank you. Monsieur, bonjour.
Bonjour.
Comment vous allez?
Ça va, je vais bien.
Alors, votre impression du cours?
Bon, je pourrais dire que c'est dans notre avantage le fait d'être ici et partager avec vous ce moment de savoir, oui. Je vais de ma part remercier notre prof d'anglais qui nous a beaucoup aidé, le fait de nous amener ici, oui.
D'accord. Et qu'est-ce qui vous a le plus marqué aujourd'hui?
Bon, il y a quelque chose que je vais partager avec vous. Bon, en fait, je ne savais pas comment faire topic, oui, writing dialogue, oui. Et aujourd'hui, ça m'a permis d'avoir plus de connaissances. Oui.
D'accord, merci beaucoup.
Okay, merci.
Alors, Monsieur Diouf, comment vous avez trouvé cette belle initiative de télérévision?
Alors, merci beaucoup. Je dois dire que tout simplement, ce que vous nous avez permis de faire, de sortir des carcans de la classe et de déloger la classe, de l'amener dans une autre sphère qui va permettre à l'élève de changer de milieu. Et quand l'élève change de milieu, il va se dire que le cours là est plus décontracté que le cours en classe. Et quand l'élève est décontracté, parce que la centralité c'est l'élève, et quand l'élève est décontracté, les informations passent mieux que quand l'élève est concentré entre les quatre murs. Vous voyez, très franchement, nous apprécions cette initiative.
Alors, merci beaucoup à vous pour votre pédagogie. Merci beaucoup.
Télé Ecole daal di ñëw ànd ak suñuy invité yu am solo.